My father did not understand. If in French, it's like, you're going to help people breastfeed? I remember him taking my husband, calling my husband and asking, are you the one who's told your wife to stop working? Right now, he's my greatest supporter. He tells women in the matatu, you're here, call my daughter, so full circle. But if you have a dream, sometimes it's fear that makes you not go into it, not do what the dream is telling you to do, or what that voice is telling you need to do. And you just need the support structure. One of the tenets of maternity care is support for a mother not to labor alone. She needs support during labor. Nutrition is important in how you make milk, but what makes milk is actually just putting the baby on the breast. Baby breast and brain. When you put the baby on the breast, they feed, they make milk, and milk is made. It's a circuit. It's not really about what you eat, as long as you eat a balanced diet.
This is a new meeting point for people all over the world to gather for healing and ultimate wellness through the solutions provided in our conversations. Welcome to Wellness with Lilly. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Wellness with Lilly. My name is Lilly, and today we have an interesting conversation with a doula. Many of you have heard about Esther the Doula, and she's here in the flesh. Her name is Esther Nyokabi Kimani.
Yeah.
And when you said Nyokabi, I thought Nyokabi is English for Nyokafi.
Yes. Kabisa.
Yeah, but when you go to conferences,
we say Nyokabi.
Yeah. Oh gosh, welcome, and thank you for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
You look so good. Before I go into what you do, just give us tips on how to look like this. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about your age, but we can just tease and say that you have a 16-year-old
and almost 18.
And an almost 18-year-old.
Yes.
Looking like this. Hey. You don't look a thing past, you don't look a day past 30. Yeah.
I'm almost 50, so I'm in my late 40s, so not bad. Thank you for that. I'll take it as a compliment.
Is it intentional or genetic or both?
I think maybe both, but it's also intentional, how you eat, exercise. I also hang around babies all the time. I think they keep me young.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just something about babies that's so refreshing.
Yeah. Because even when I think about my teachers, they never seem to age.
Yeah. There's something about children that refreshes you.
Yeah.
You can't be stressed around a baby.
Yeah.
They'll look at you and smile, and all your troubles go away.
Indeed.
So I think that also, that's part of it. Yeah.
What's your diet like? Do you diet?
No, I don't diet. I eat. I am a nutritionist as well. So I eat a balanced diet, but I don't eat a lot of starch.
Okay.
I actually follow the rules like...
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should eat like a handful. That's what your starch portion should be. And I eat proteins and fruits and vegetables and lots of fluids. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you dress up. I think also the dressing
Yes, you need to feel good.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
wear your earrings.
Oh, I imagine I don't have.
You've never pierced?
I've never pierced my ears. Blame my mother. Mom.
No, but
she used to say no piercing. And then now by the time I was older, I was like, what's the point? And then, I've never pierced.
My mom was your mom, but I couldn't wait to...
You couldn't?
I was like...
My sisters all have pierced. Me, I think I just
Do people ask?
Yeah. As most people like, people buy for me gifts, earrings are always such a nice gift. So they give you, and I'm like, thank you, I'll give my daughters or I'll give someone else. Yeah, but not pierced.
A rare person. Okay. Now we can go to what you do.
Yeah.
You're a doula. What does that entail?
So a doula, most people ask me then, what's that? So a doula is someone who supports new parents from even sometimes before they get pregnant, through their pregnancy journey, and through the early parenting period. So a doula actually is a Greek word that means mother helper. And what it is, it's just basically someone who is trained and has information to be able to offer emotional, physical, and support to you. Basically, we are the link between your medical healthcare and yourself. Most people, especially in today's life, you go, there's a long queue. The doctor has not much time to even explain things to you. We will come, we'll decode your baby for you, help you to figure out how to take care of your baby, how to carry your pregnancy, how to prepare you for childbirth education classes. So all this, that journey that helps you become equipped so that you can be confident in your journey. So just that person that, the ear, a voice in your ear to tell you this is the way you can walk, and that gives you confidence.
Are Kenyans embracing that career? Because I feel like I could be wrong, but the feeling is that Kenyans just want a quick consultation and then I go back to my life. I've not seen a lot of circles that embrace the journey, like of working with a professional on your journey.
I think it's slowly starting to build, and now you'll hear somebody actually talking about it. Basically like abroad in the West, because there's not support structures. I think in here we still have good support structure. You still have your mom, your sister, your friend, you can afford a nanny. But abroad the doula is huge because there's no structure. So there's no support structure. So they tend to work a lot. But even here, people are realizing that when I don't have information and things go wrong, who do I call? What's happening when my baby is doing this? I go to hospital, I'm told my baby's fine. And then you're like, but your baby's crying the whole night. But medically, your baby's fine. But there's somebody who can talk to you about how do I handle this baby? How can I make this baby more comfortable so that they don't cry as much, and help you just figure that journey out. So that's people actually realizing, oh, there's actually someone. And I do get calls. I got a call from a mom yesterday, and she went to hospital, and the doctor asked her, what's your birth plan? And she was like, what? What is that? And
you tell me.
You tell me. And the doctor was like, oh, you need a birth plan. You need to figure out how you want your birth to be like. And she was like, she called me, she was like, so I was told to look for someone who can help me figure out what my birth plan will be. And so that's basically where now we come in. To help you figure it out and help you get more comfortable.
I have a lot of questions about your work, but before we go into that, let's talk about your journey, why you chose this career. Or what paths led you to this career. So
it chose me. Actually, God just chose it for me. I had never even heard of it. I grew up in a family of 5, and I'm the firstborn. And so, of course, being the firstborn, and the age gap is it's quite like me and my sister. It's 6 years. So, of course, I was a bit older than them. So, of course, I tended to do a lot more
Deputy mom.
Deputy mom.
Properly.
Even now, they still call me deputy mom. I think I'm even more mom than mom.
Really?
Right now, because I think my mom is becoming older. But anyway, but that was my journey. And then grew up, went to school, finished, went to campus, and then voila, I started working. And part of it, by the way, my story is very interesting. I used to sing. I did music in high school, so I knew that was where my journey would be.
Now you know I'm going to ask you to sing.
I know. No, I'm not going to sing. But anyway, I used to sing. we can work out something.
Okay.
We'll talk. Anyway. And so I thought I was going to do music. And then I go to report in campus, and my name was not there in the music department. And my loving mother went and did something, and my admission was changed, because those days music would take you nowhere. And so I found myself in education and studied to be a teacher. And first of all, I was very upset, but now when I look back, I just see like it was God just ordering my steps to a very different direction. And I did education and even taught for 2 years. And then I joined the corporate world and went right into HR and admin. So I think it was just preparing me to learn how to deal with people, deal with children and parents and in the corporate world. And I was a real corporate mama. And then I met my husband, and then we got married.
Slow down.
Slow down.
We love how I met your daddy stories. How did you meet your husband?
Very, very interesting. So I have a friend. Her name is Ruth. We grew up together with Ruth. And when we were 11, I think we were 11 or 12, we were such best friends. And we said, even when we grow up, we'll either marry brothers or best friends.
Oh.
Right? So that was, we were children.
Yeah.
And fast forward, we go to campus. I went to Kenyatta University. And she went to Moi University. We are age mates. So she went to Moi University. And when she was there, she met the guy who is her husband now. And she's there and she met him. And she was only there for a year. And then she got a scholarship to a different university. So she left. So of course now I met her boyfriend at the time. And we were friends because we were best friends. And then she finishes and her boyfriend at the time comes to Nairobi and he has his best friend who they are housemates. And so, of course, I meet him one day. There used to be Nakumatt checkpoint. It used to be on Kenyatta Avenue. And he's shopping and I meet him and I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm here. We're shopping for the house with my housemate. Come meet him.
Okay.
That's how I met my husband on Kenyatta Avenue. Yeah.
Just the way you said it?
Just the same way we said it. From your mouth, God is hearing. So we're best friends.
Yeah.
We're still best of friends. We still do life together many years later.
Yeah.
So that's how I met him. Yeah.
Oh my.
With the Kemani.
Wow.
The Kemani in my name. That's how I met him.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's such a good story. And you wanted to just ride past it.
No. It's such a good story.
Thank you for sharing.
That's how we met. Yeah.
Okay, so you meet your husband, you get married.
We start doing life. And then we took a bit of time to have children. No problem, it was just choice. But of course, the African way is when you get married, you should get children the next month, So after a year, I went for Christmas. Guys are looking at the tummy. We're like, we're not in a hurry. We are okay.
Yeah.
You even offered Gaina's numbers. We're like, you're okay.
Why are we like that?
I know, right? We're like, imagine there's no issue. We just want to take a bit of our time.
Yeah.
Anyway, finally we're like, okay, let's have babies. And thankfully I got pregnant. Yeah. And then that's when my journey began because my pregnancy was crazy. Both my pregnancies I have 2 children. Both pregnancies have been crazy. And that one was no exception. But I had a lovely boss, was very understanding. And at around 6 months, I remember taking a road trip to Eldoret. It was when the road was really bad. Remember when the Nakuru highway was horrible. It had potholes, and I think that just triggered something. And when I came, I started having premature labor, and I was put on bed rest. And therein already, I was feeling so lost. The doctor just says, you're on bed rest. That's it. Why? What does bed rest mean? What do you mean? What do I have to do? I didn't have much information. I had those pregnancies where you throw up every day. No one seemed to know what to do. I was given medication, they don't work. And so it was a very stressful time. Anyway, so I continued. Now I was on bed rest. I was given leave from work and I was on bed rest. Sometimes I'd be able to go back, but most times I was on bed rest. And then the time my baby came and my labor it happened, my birth. But the minute my baby was born, it was very, very traumatizing because my baby got an infection. And she ended up in the newborn ICU. And it was very hard because I had to leave her in the hospital and go home. And I remember as we drove in to our house and the caretaker runs to come and welcome me. And he's like, oh, where's the baby? And I just burst out crying because I was like, oh, my baby is so
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I think what was harder is because, first of all, I felt like whatever happened through the whole process was because I didn't have information. I didn't have much information even about what to eat. She was already anemic at that point. And so there was so many things that had gone on. And I was like, who's giving me information? No one. So I really felt lost. I was just being given medical information. But then they're like, we just want milk. No one is showing me how to express milk. They're like, go and express and give milk. So, but no one is really showing me how to do it. I'm trying to figure it out. The pump is not working. I'm like, someone is telling me, use your hands. How do I use my hands to express? So it was really crazy. And then one time I'm at the nursery trying to express milk for my baby. And I'd go early in the morning, spend the whole day, and then in the evening, go home, come back the next day. So I'm in the nursery and I'm expressing milk, and this lady walks in and she was a visiting nurse from the UK, and she's like, hi. I'm like, hi. I see you expressing. Which one is your baby? And I'm like, that one. She's like, that's a big baby and she looks fine. She doesn't need, like, she was breathing on her own because it's the nursery. And she was like, why aren't you breastfeeding? And I was like, she refused. My nipples were, I had what we call flat nipples, and one of them was inverted. So flat nipples means the nipple is actually not out, and one was inverted, meaning the nipple actually is inside. You see a hole. So she's like, and I'm like, look at my boobs. They told me it's hard to breastfeed with these nipples, and some babies just don't breastfeed. She was like, really? You know, like she had this look on her face. And I was like, yeah, really? That's what I've been told. So I'm expressing, and I'm like, it's fine. I'll express as much as I can, even if I have to express for her whole journey. And she was like, do you mind if we try? Because the baby was about to wake up. We cut the baby and we try. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, no one has offered to sit with me to try. And she sat with me, and 40 minutes later, my baby was breastfeeding.
Wow.
Yeah. She was breastfeeding, and she never looked back. She was a fantastic breastfeeder. And I'm like, wow, what? And she fed and fed, got full and slept.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And she slept, I waited, she woke up, put her on the breast, because she showed me what to do. She told me this is how you attach, even with your breast anatomy, you wouldn't do it like any other mom, but this is what you do to attach your baby. She taught me. She was patient, she taught me, she was loving. I only remember her first name. She was Mary. I don't know any other name. I never saw her again, but she was my angel that just changed my life. She literally changed my daughters and my life, my husband. She changed our lives. And she always brings almost tears.
You'd have expressed for how many years?
For how many years? And most likely, maybe I wouldn't have sustained it. My baby would have had to go on formula. Because most people who have to exclusively pump, it takes so much effort. And unless you're even supported through it, it's not going to be sustainable. And so that's what happened. And my journey began. And something was birthed in me. And I was like, how many other women are suffering or struggling, and they don't know what to do, and they just follow, like, resign to whatever you've been told. And I was like, wow. And then I started reading. There are these people who can support. They're lactation professionals, they're lactation consultants, they are doulas, and my world now was opened. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no training in Kenya. What do we do? So once now we went home with my baby, and my baby was discharged. Maternity leave was a really, real game changer. And I remember one day waking up, telling my husband, they didn't know quite about doulas then, but I was like, I want to learn how to support. I want to be her. I want to be Mary. And he was like, what? You want to support people with lactation? I'm like, yes. He's like, but what? I was like, yeah, what? And I was like, I want to find out how to become her. And that would mean I would have to stop work. And he's like,
how is that going to work?
How's it going to work? you know. But my husband is amazing. He was like, you know what? After a few days, we're gonna make it work. I'll do he's a spreadsheet guy. So spreadsheet with one salary. Let's see. Mix here. He was like, see, we can make it work. Yeah. And let's figure this out.
Tell me how you made it work. I know it's not in the line of doula, but I know also for the sake of someone who wants to do a career change, or a couple where one wants to take it for the team as the other one figures life out.
We actually realized that the two salaries, the second salary was actually for extras. That's what we realized, that if we changed a few things, didn't have to eat out, didn't have to eat sausages.
Don't take the sausages away.
And by the way, sausages was our thing. When we were dating with my husband, we used to be in this shady, my husband, he used to take me to this shady hotel. It used to have a 4th floor. It's on Thumbi.
Wow.
It's on Thumbi. But we were young. All of this. But we were young. We didn't earn much money, so it was okay. It was fine. It was fine. It was but it was a special
The food
place.
must have been good though.
It was good actually.
Yeah.
But it was in a hotel, 4th floor. And they used to make amazing sausages with that tomato. So I would go and eat 3 sausages.
Just like Java.
Just like Java, right? But at a much friendlier, pocket-friendlier cost. So anyway, so sausages were like, okay, maybe we eat sausages like once every 2 weeks instead. So we actually realized that.
Did you move houses?
No, we actually continued to stay where we were, but changed a few things. I was in the corporate world. I had a car. So sell one car. We can make do with one. Anyway, I'm not going to the office anymore. So when we did all those little changes, we were actually okay. We were comfortable. We were okay. I was like, I can stay home. We don't have to, at that point, employ a nanny. I'm home. So we'll do laundry. We'll help each other. We will, we will make it work. And we did. And it was amazing. And that's why I'm like, if you have a dream, sometimes it's fear that makes you not go into it, not do what the dream is telling you to do, or what that voice is telling you need to do. And you just need the support structure. Of course, my father did not understand. If in French, it's like, you're going to help people breastfeed? Like, you're quitting your job to go help people breastfeed?
In mother tongue, it sounds almost, bad.
Bad, exactly. In mother tongue, it sounds something, it almost sounds like,
I can hear him minimizing your dream.
Exactly. Good, like going there, like, right now he's my greatest supporter. He tells women in the matatu, you're here, call my daughter, so full circle, but it didn't make any sense to my family. I remember him calling my husband and asking, are you the one who's told your wife to stop working? Like, people don't stop working, like,
also that's what in-laws do.
Yes.
Like when they feel like their child has made a mistake, they blame the spouse.
The spouse, exactly.
Yeah, they sit and discuss the spouse. That husband of hers.
Who has? This one.
It's misleading her.
So it was very interesting. But and I had to tell him, no, actually, it's me. Trust me, it's me. And this is something that I feel like I need to do. So I started getting opportunities to get trained both here and abroad. And then now started my journey, one mom at a time. I started off with friends who are pregnant. I'd see a pregnant woman in the supermarket, and I'm like, in case you struggle with breastfeeding, call me, no charge, call me. And they would call.
No charge.
Yeah, at that point, I'm like, no one even thought you could pay for breastfeeding support, because that's where I started. Breastfeeding support. Word, please, just breastfeeding a baby. Just put the baby on the breast and breastfeed. And then they would call. They'd be like, I'm actually struggling. And my friends and family, and and that started. And then actually one time, this lady calls and says, I've been given your number by so-and-so. And she said, you help people breastfeed. And I was like, yeah. how much do you charge? And I was like, oh.
I hadn't thought that through.
And I think I just picked a random number from my head. She was like, okay, will you come? When can you come? I was like, okay, yeah. And that was the most precious money. It was, I think, 800 bob. It was the most precious 800 bob ever. And I remember going to my husband and says,
I made my first money.
I made my first money with, you know, with what I'm doing. Yeah. So that was.
What did your husband say?
He was so excited. He was like, we bought sausages.
Sausages are back.
We bought sausages. You know, like, that's my sausages. Yes.
Yay.
You know. But anyway, so that's where the journey began. Slowly. And then what happened was, like, now I started, you know, you started doing here for free mostly, but still, sometimes you'll get paid, sometimes you don't, and that's fine. Because for me, I wanted to learn. And I have studied, but I've also learned a lot from the mothers that I interact with. What I realized is that most of the information that we learn, like when I go for trainings, it's very skewed towards the West. So it's skewed to a certain breast. Our breasts as Africans are, my goodness, so varied. So when they say, for example, put the whole areola, so the areola is the dark part, put the whole areola in the baby's mouth. Have you seen us Africans? Sometimes our areolas are half the boob.
Yeah.
It's all gonna fit in the mouth.
Yeah.
And yet that's the you know, that's the messaging we're getting. So I had to learn a lot. I have met mothers with 2 nipples at the same time. We still have to breastfeed.
2 nipples.
Yeah, like you had 2 nipples right next to each other, or a big breast, or very small breasts, or very big nipples, or, you know, like Africans, we are...
the milk, also the issue of milk gushing out.
Exactly. You know, this is the flow, or somebody doesn't have as much. So how do every mom I meet, it's different. Even the way, like, this mom was saying, I was shown like this. So she was trying to show her friend, and it didn't work. And she's like, but Esther showed me like this. And now when I went, I was like, because your breasts are different. So when I meet this mom, I might not show them the same way I showed another mom, because our breasts are different. So it became very interesting, and I just wanted to learn, and figure it out. And sometimes we've had to figure it out with moms themselves. And I'm like, okay, let's try this, let's try this. Then it works. Then I learn, oh, this kind of boob, this style works, you know. So it's a learned experience. Then I started meeting moms, and then they would start feeding their babies, and things would go downhill. So they thrived during the breastfeeding journey, but from 6 months, you find the baby start losing weight and stuff. And I was like, what's going on? And I love learning. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to now go back and do nutrition. And back to school. And did nutrition. Did a diploma in nutrition, because I'm like, I need to give them, I love doing evidence-based information. And I have since upgraded and gotten much more information. But that's what I did. And then I was like, okay. And then now I'd meet so many issues during breastfeeding. And I'm like, I wish I met them before.
What do you mean?
Like before baby came. You see, now with breastfeeding, you're meeting them after the baby has come. So then now that's when I went back to get trained. And that's when I became a doula. Because a doula, you meet them when they're pregnant. And I'm like, I need information. I need to train them. I need to teach them. I need to offer childbirth education. So that's how my journey has been. And all the cups that I've kept adding in my arsenal as a doula have been because of I see a need, and there is no one actually doing it. So I go back to school, and sometimes I have to travel. Most times I have to travel out of the country because that training is not here. I have to go to, you know, and go and learn, and then come back and offer that. And my newest cup is actually now to train doulas. So I'm now actually about to start doing my trainings in a few weeks Now to start, because I think this is needed, there is a demand for it. We still have a lot of issues. Our hospitals still don't trust us. They don't trust what we do. So some hospitals don't even allow that support. Yet for every mother, even WHO says one of the tenets of maternity care is support for a mother not to labor alone. She needs support during labor. So she can come with her support person, her husband, her mother, her doula. And in studies that have been shown, studies actually show that doulas prevent the use of interventions in birth by up to 34%. That's a very, very big percentage. Yes. And these are studies.
Wow. Yeah. By interventions, you mean like?
Like C-sections. Like vacuum deliveries, assisted deliveries, complications during labor and birth. Like, for example, some of the times a mom will call me. She's like, I don't have money to go to hospital. And she'll call me. And by the way, for me, I pick calls, even for people who are not my clients. They'll call me and they say, I found your number online. And you know how I'm feeling? My baby is not playing Villa Mezoea. My baby is playing a bit weirdly. Yeah. And I'll ask questions, and I'm like, okay, no, that doesn't sound okay. Please go to hospital. They go, and there's actually a problem. So doulas actually save lives, save the life of the mother, of the baby, even of the parents. That sanity that comes with just knowing how to care for your baby. Sometimes I've gone and I found a baby sleeping. There was my recent case that was so scary was I went to them. They were struggling with breastfeeding. And I went into their home and I asked the mom, where's the baby? I'm here. Where's the baby? She's like, baby has been sleeping for a while. I was like, okay, let's wake up baby. It's been more than 3 hours. Let's wake up baby so that we can, feed. Yeah. And we couldn't wake up the baby. And I was like, your baby's dehydrated. And I remember getting into the car and going into the hospital, leaving the mom. She had a C-section. She was moving very slowly to pick the nanny, rush the baby to hospital. The baby was dehydrated.
How did you tell that it was dehydration and not seeds or
those? Because the fontanelle was sunken. The baby's skin was not quite like it's springing back. The baby was very lethargic, a very weak cry. So all those things. And the mom said, everyone was telling her, let the baby sleep. If the baby's asleep, let her sleep. There's no information, no education. Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes we are losing babies because of lack of knowledge and information. That's why we come in, we educate. We, like most times, that's why I'm like, I love meeting moms before, because we teach them about labor and birth, but also after. Yeah. How do you know your baby's eating enough? How do you know you have enough milk? How do you know that your baby is doing well? Yeah. How do you know that you're okay? That you don't have, that your pressure is okay? That, like, what are the danger signs you see before, after, during, And this is information that most people don't have. Being a doula, I think, is a calling. You meet women at their most vulnerable time. Mothers are vulnerable. Motherhood changes you. It does. It is one of those areas that changes the psyche of who you are. It changes relationships. Whether you are a mother, a sister, a husband, a wife, it changes who you are. And so as a doula, you have to come in and mother that mother. That's my job. I keep saying it's mothering the mother and figuring out, how do I take care of you? But for a long time, people didn't see the need. Yeah. So when you said you're a doula, someone doesn't see the need. And so for most times, I just had to do it for free. When I see a need, to do it for free. And even now, it's still, I wouldn't say that it's yes, people will pay, but it's still not at where, like, you can, like you can say, I am getting to a place where I'm comfortably. Yeah. There's sometimes you don't get anyone. Yeah. And sometimes you get someone, or sometimes you get people and they can't pay. Yeah. But I can't say no to a mom in need. I need to still help and support and figure out structures to support that mother who doesn't have. And for our communities, like for me, I feel like every mother needs a support person.
Yeah.
They need a birth companion.
Yeah.
We train some doulas right in Migori, and in a community hospital. And it's so amazing, amazing, amazing to see what they're doing. They're changing lives. They're making birth safer. Because in a community hospital where there's not much manpower, like the midwives and the nurses, these birth companions come into the hospital with these mothers. When there's something wrong, they can call and say, oh, this labor is not going the way it should. And so babies are actually being attended to faster. Mothers are being taught how to breastfeed. And so what does that mean? That community is becoming healthier and safer. So birth companions make a difference when they are trained and they know what to do. And in that hospital, they've actually seen a decrease in transfer because they don't have a theater. So it's a hospital where they transfer the mothers into a bigger hospital in case they need a C-section or they need further interventions. They are transferring much less.
That's good.
Just because there's a doula.
Just because there's a doula.
Yeah. So we make differences, but it's new in our society in Kenya. And so we hope that's gonna grow. And like I keep saying, even for the westernized countries, they keep encouraging some of us that it took close to 20 years for them to get acceptability into and become a mainstream area. So I'm not giving up. I think it's a journey that every mother would have. And one of the organizations that I train for, they say a doula for every mother or for every person that needs one. So I'm like, I think every mother should have someone that they work with who knows what they're doing. And like even my mom, by the way, you see how my boobs were. So I'm asking my mom how to breastfeed. She's like, in French. I don't know. I'm like, but you breastfed. She's like, but I don't know. My breasts are not like yours. So she's like, I would ask her questions and she's like, I've forgotten. She's had 5 children, but she's forgotten. So, and a lot of mothers say that. They're like, I forget. I have no idea what I did with you, you know. And so you think that would be your support person, but or it's your friend, but your 5 friends give you 5 different answers. So you're like, you even now so confused. It's like, and then you go to Dr. Google and they give you even 5 more other different opinions, and you get very confused.
Have you clashed with someone's mother? Because most women's birth companions are automatically by default the mom, and even the mother herself will sometimes complain that, or not really complain, but see that tug of war between what the pediatrician is saying and what the mom is saying. So now enter the doula.
I remember maybe the story to tell was this mother. And so the baby had refused to breastfeed. That's how I entered. So part of the, is trying. And when for a baby who's refused, and mostly it's because they're being given the bottle before you have established breastfeeding. But they're bottle feeding for me. If I was asked, no, mother should bottle feed. Because a baby can be fed with a cup comfortably. Because it really sometimes interferes with breastfeeding. So the baby was in hospital, was given the bottle. Of course, with the bottle, they go, when they're done. Now, enter mother trying to breastfeed. The baby's like, this one I have to work hard. I don't want. So, of course, when I went, when we're trying, the baby is crying because they're like, no, give me the bottle. So we take a break, then try again. Hey, mother came and said, no, you're making my grandchild cry. Let's stop. She can be given the bottle. But the mom was she really wanted to breastfeed. And it was such a fight, So I remember telling the mother, okay, mom, I know you really don't want the baby to cry, or as we are trying, because it wasn't even much crying. It was more like, and then we'd take a break, give the baby a break, then come back. The baby complains, like, the way they kind of complain. But it's just that she was trying to say, I want something different, And I remember telling her, give us just a few days, 3-4 days. If by the 4 to 5 days the baby hasn't come to the breast, then we can stop. And she was like, okay, because she was staying there. She had come to help her daughter.
That's tough.
And yeah, so we sat and she started feeding.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you were right. Now that mother, all her children, and she had many children. She's even the one who used to pay for the sessions. Like when the grandchild is being born. Esther, kuna mtoto anakuja. Come.
Yeah.
So that's why. Some of them, it's because of their beliefs. They believe like a baby cannot get satisfied by just breast milk.
Yeah.
So you have to educate them.
Yeah.
But I've learned over time to make them my friends.
Yeah.
Because it can be very, very you don't want to become the person that's causing stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for some who don't understand, I just come and say I'm a friend. Don't even say I'm a doula. Just say my friend is visiting me.
Yeah.
And and the story
you have
starts
to navigate.
From navigate.
I feel like that's corporate all over again.
Exactly. Those little nuances that come. There's one, sometimes what you're eating as a mom can affect the baby, can make the baby very gassy and colicky. And this was a call, and they were calling from Nyahururu. So when I say Nyahururu, you can guess what that mother was being fed. So that mother was being fed all the gassy foods, like njahes and cabbage,
yes,
and a lot of chapati and a lot of, and so even from the call, the mother is calling, she's crying because I could hear a screaming baby in the background. Yeah. And she was like, I saw your call because this baby has been crying for 5 hours nonstop. I've taken the baby to hospital. They've told me the baby's just gassy. It will stop, but I can't handle it anymore. What do I do? So I remember asking a few questions. How is the baby feeding? She's like, the baby's feeding, but once they finish feeding, they're trying to remove gas, and they're so gassy, and they look like they're in pain, and they're curling themselves up. And I was like, yes, that sounds like gas. So I was like, okay, what have you been eating? So she told me. And I was like, wow, I think your diet could be what is affecting the baby. So I gave her a few tips. Let's try a different diet. Still balanced, but a different diet for a few days. It didn't take 2 minutes later, her mother called me. Wewe ni nani? You're telling my daughter not to no, this is what will give her milk. And I was like, you see, that's a misconception. Because what you eat is good. Nutrition is important in how you make milk. But what makes milk is actually just putting the baby on the breast. Baby breast and brain. When you put the baby on the breast, they feed, they make milk, and milk is made. It's a circuit. It's not really about what you eat, as long as you eat a balanced diet.
Really?
Yeah.
Then how come people report that when I took those njahes, I saw milk, and before the njahes, I didn't have milk?
So there's sometimes it's here. They're called, how the brain works, there are two hormones. One hormone is called oxytocin. The other one called is prolactin. So there are a few foods that have been shown that they can increase your supply because they increase the hormones. But almost a big part of it is because of your relaxation. So it's been drummed to me that when I eat njahe, I have milk. That's what it's been drummed.
Yeah.
But what happens is when I eat, so I feel relaxed.
Oh.
Because I know, this one will give confidence. What does that do? It increases oxytocin, which is the hormone that makes milk, and you get milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it really true that it's not the njahe that gives milk?
Yes. It's baby breast and brain. The baby comes to the breast. How come the ones who don't eat njahe still have milk?
Yeah, like me, I didn't eat njahe.
Yes, and you had milk. Yes, exactly. So you see, it's more like when your brain is relaxed. That's why stress cuts milk. Or cuts the milk. If your brain is relaxed, you're gonna make milk. Even we've seen people even who've not eaten, like in areas where there's hunger or disasters.
Yeah,
we've seen moms walking around dropping milk and they've not eaten for 4 days. How do you explain that?
Yeah,
because now there's nothing to eat. The baby keeps coming to the breast, and the baby keeps now demanding the body, and the body will make milk. It will break your body down to make milk.
Yeah.
So this mother, going back to my story, so I told her, let's take 3 days. I promise, Mama, 3 days. Just give her this new diet. If the baby doesn't stop crying, you can't go back. 3 days exactly. It's the mother who called me.
Wow.
She told me, actually it was the mother-in-law. She told me, mtoto amenyamaza, the baby is so peaceful. Oh my God, it worked. Now what?
Yeah.
So I told her, it's not every mom. Sometimes you can eat everything, but sometimes just keeping a food diary, because we were just trying. Let's change the diet a little and see.
What was on your diet? For example, what were the proteins in your diet? The one that you recommended to that mom?
Like meats, egg, now the meats. Instead of eating jahis, she could do the lighter, like kamande.
Oh.
Just like change a little, because those are heavy proteins. So you could do this.
Yeah.
Avoid a bit of milk. We do know too much milk sometimes can make the babies a bit gassy, or have some intolerance, or have some constipation for some babies, or have a running tummy for others. And it's because also us as mothers, our gut is not quite healthy. So it usually means your gut is leaky. So elements of the foods you're eating are entering your circulatory system, and that's why it's ending up in your milk. So even as we are, and we say, don't stop food without help, like seek someone to walk with you. Because you don't want now to start having some malnutrition because you're not eating something. You still need a balanced diet. But also, if you keep a food diary and notice, when I eat this, my baby is really uncomfortable, replace it with something else in the same food group that gives you the same nutrition. But also start healing your gut by doing, you can take probiotics, you can take stuff like kombucha that helps to heal your gut. You can limit, don't take medications that are not necessary, because like if you take, the way people self-medicate and you keep going to take antibiotics when you don't need it, they destroy your gut.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and you have a leaky gut. So some of these things are just from the maternal side, but we can work. And that's now what we do. We work together to make you feel comfortable, figure out why is this baby. Sometimes the baby is crying maybe because they're overstimulated. You have a very overstimulating environment. So when I come, that's why I go home, and I come and I'm like, I can observe, and I'm like, this baby is crying because maybe there's too many hands holding this baby. Newborn babies need to bond with mom, and maybe dad. If this baby is being held by 15 hands, most of the time they'll be very uncomfortable and cranky, So it's little things like those. And that's not what as a doula you do. You come, you see the situation and provide different advices that work, because it's never a one size fits all. Even for one baby, different different strategies and approaches might work. So we give, let's try this. If it doesn't work, okay, let's change this a little, let's see. But most times we find a solution. Oh, wow. That's a beautiful conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. We will do another episode. I know people are listening and they have so many burning questions. I'll try as much as possible to just represent many of the questions that will come in from this show. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been Wellness with Lilly. My name is Lilly, and this channel is Shared Moments with Justus. Please comment. Let us know what your thoughts are as we have had this conversation, and also share this to all your friends and subscribe if you haven't. I will ask you to tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me on all platforms, Esther the Doula.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, see you in the next episode. Now we're going to ask you some questions, life questions surrounding mother and baby on the next episode.
All right.
Sawa, stay tuned for the next episode, and thank you for watching. Bye.